With our drug and heroin problem come our violent crimes. We have addicts who wake up in the morning and the only thing on their mind is, where am I going to get my next fix? They will steal from you. They will go to their family members. They will take your money. They will take your car. They will do whatever they can to get to the place they need to be, which is, shooting up again.
He started to steal from us. He sold all his brother's hunting stuff. Guns, bows. I guess he needed the money to get it.
Stealing off their parents, stealing from other people, setting up fake drug buys to get the money to support their addiction.
I worry about our elderly who are prescribed a lot of these pain medications that maybe have terminal illness. I worry about these addicts knowing where they live and knowing that they're sick and breaking into their homes for that medication.
There are some individuals that not only use themselves, but they sell any excess pills that they can get because they're very profitable in the illegal market for these medications. There are other individuals that are not even taking the medication and, again, obtaining it illegally so they can sell it.
I've said we can't arrest our way out of this problem. We in law enforcement are targeting the dealers who are supplying the addicts, but even that line has crossed because now we're seeing that some addicts are selling to support their own habits. So a person you would never think would have stooped to the level to sell drugs is now doing it to get their own fix.
Once you get to that point where if you don't have your opiates of any form, you get horribly sick, horribly ill. It's flu-like. You can't control your bowel movements. You're throwing up. You got chills. You can't sit still. And at that point, you will do just about anything to feel better.
About 85% of our cases in one way relate to drug or alcohol abuse. Either they're caught with drugs or they're drunk driving, or they're drunk or high and they're committing other crimes like domestic assaults, or they are trying to feed their habit. They're stealing, they're breaking into homes to get money to get, their next fix. So yes, our estimate is about 85% of our caseload relates back in one way or another to drug or alcohol abuse.
It's very hard. I just can't understand it. I don't understand why. That was my main question to my son. Why? He never had an answer for me. He said, "Mom, you just don't understand. I said, "No, I don't understand. Tell me, why?" Never got an answer. Never. And it's Satan. It's Satan. And it takes over. Not only did it destroy him, it has torn our family apart.
I almost get choked up a little bit. I had a good friend of mine that I went to McCourt with that we played high school baseball, hung out. We played AAA League baseball together. Also died of narcotics. So it's it hits home for me for sure. Yeah, no question. And I think there's probably some success stories, but I think more or less in my decade in medicine so far, there's many more sad and tragic stories than there are success stories.
We had a little girl explain to the police, no, mommy's just taking her medicine, and said she gets this rubber band and puts it around her arm, and then she gets her needle and her spoon, and she puts her medicine in the syringe, and she gives herself a shot. And for this little 6-year-old, that was a daily event, and to her, that was her mother taking her medicine.
These drug overdose fatalities are heart-wrenching. Every call that we go on, to see the heartache in these families and what they have been through, the struggle of this addiction problem is heart-wrenching. And it's a shame.
In order to inject heroin, obviously you need the needles. And the risk when people share needles is that if one person in your needle sharing group has HIV or hepatitis C, it's incredibly easy to share it from person to person. And so people can get infected really easily with both of these really serious infections by sharing needles.
I've seen a lot of people share needles, a lot of people in my circle, which was quite a large circle.
If you share a needle with a person with hepatitis C, the chance that you will get hepatitis C is extremely high. And so in our community, we're seeing very high rates of hepatitis C. So in Cambria County, we are one of the counties that the CDC has identified as very high risk for an HIV explosion. I think the illnesses are very different. So for HIV, it attacks the immune system. So if people don't come into care and get treatment, then their immune system gradually deteriorates and they get debilitating infections of many sorts. So they can get lung infections, they can get infections in their brain. They're also more likely to get a lot of different cancers.